Hi, I'm Emily. If you've ever been told throughout your life that you're too sensitive, you're too emotional, why do you cry so much? This is your place. My life purpose is to empower empaths and highly sensitive people who are overwhelmed and exhausted by carrying the weight of others' expectations of them to help them reclaim their own inner peace, set boundaries, and thrive as they're able to transform their sensitivity into a source of strength and deep connection. I am so glad that you're here today because I have a channeled message from Archangel Raziel. I've chosen to share this message with you because empath, it's really hard for us to prioritize ourselves over everyone else's needs. And this is it's very exhausting, and it's a way that we are trying to just navigate our own worth here in this world and our own path. So this message is for you if you've ever felt exhausted or on the brink of burnout. If so, you could be living somebody else's expectations, and it is depleting you. As an empath, I've always been deeply in tune with others' feelings. Since a young child, I was faced with learning disabilities that made me stand out in a way that I didn't like. And the collision between being an empath with a learning disability programmed me to become an overachiever and a people pleaser, striving just to find my place and however I could fit in the world. As empaths, we tend to immerse ourselves fully in everything we do, constantly pushing boundaries and striving for excellence. Yet we also seek acceptance and understanding, which can leave us to feeling a little stretched thin. It's a constant juggle in to balance our natural sensitivity with the demands of the world. Have you ever felt the weight of expectations bearing you down, all while you're yearning to carve out your own space in the world? Maybe you've experienced the exhaustion of trying to fit in while you're at the same time ignoring your own sensitivities and unique gifts. It's a delicate dance, one that I've become way too familiar with. To this channeled message that I got from Archangel Raziel. And this is about embracing our truth as empaths, as highly sensitive people. This message is about unlocking your truth. Today, we are going to be diving into the essence of being a people pleaser, an empath, or a highly sensitive person. The keys to discovering your true self lies in being authentically honest with yourself. Have you ever felt like you've been wearing masks for so long that you've lost touch with who you truly are? Perhaps you found yourself constantly trying to meet others' expectations of you and forgetting to consider what truly brings you joy and purpose. Understanding your situation is important, that you're able to recognize where you've conformed. He's saying, this is Archangel Raziel again. He is saying, acknowledging the mask that you wear of others. Understand how these external expectations have programmed you. He wants you to assess your own alignment. He's saying, take a deep breath, like take some time just to reflect on your life and ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Are these expectations that I'm living truly mine? Are they realistic? Or do they drain me? Path, you have to have a clear understanding of which mask you've been wearing, and that this is a fundamental key for you to step into your authentic truth. So if you can identify the mask that are other people's expectations of you that you put into to put on to fulfill their expectations and not your own, then that's the key to be able to identify this is not mine, and then that you can start to walk out your truth. He is saying the things to improve in the outer world, or excuse me, he's saying things cannot, not things too. Things cannot improve in the outer world, or what we're living, our jobs, our relationships, whatever it may be, until the change occurs within ourselves. So that's where it's being honest with yourself. That's where it's taking the time to kind of step away from everything and really assess, like, what makes me tick? What am I doing that is just draining me? And what am I doing that I love? And just being in tune with that, or what do I want to be doing that I would love to be doing? Um, so this is a process of the inner, or this inner process is important, he's saying, because our mind controls our outer experiences. So what happens is what the universe brings to us is what we're thinking. The universe mirrors our thoughts, essentially. So what Archangel Raziel is saying is being so in tune with what's going on with you and how you're feeling, and being in tune with the mask that you've put on over the years of being here, and not being truthful to yourself just to fulfill others' expectations of you. That is a program that needs to be broken. And if it's not broken, you're going to continue to have these life lessons repeat themselves until you can change what's going on in your mind. Then the universe can make room to bring in new opportunities, new experiences for you. So he's asking for some honest self-reflection, and he wants you to answer these questions. Pull out a journal, he's saying, and just answer these questions. What makes you happy? What activities or pursuits brings you the most joy? And then so to spend some time to just really reflect on that. And then identify the difference between living for yourself and living for somebody else's dream. Can you recognize when you're on the wrong path? There's a really fine line here to be aware of when you're doing this self-reflection. Not everything we do is supposed to be easy. So if you are aligned with your true life purpose, there are things that are going to be difficult. That is part of life. And he wants you to be aware of this. So it could be, maybe you have a job that is your true life purpose, but you're not happy with certain aspects of it. And so you think it's not your true life purpose. That may not be the case, he's saying here. He just wants you to become a little bit more in tune with yourself and discovering what brings you joy, to help you reconnect with yourself, and then being aware of what areas of your life are challenging or difficult. This is revealing to you where you can spend some time with self-improvement so that you can advance further towards your life purpose. So it's key here to just be really in tune with that. And what I want to share a little personal experience with me in this situation. So I love what I do. Absolutely lights me up. I love working with my one-on-one clients and shining light and divine truth onto their paths, so that they can see and get a different perspective of where they're at in their life, how they can change things that are not working for them, and allow to work with themselves, clear energy blocks, work with universe and divine energy to help clear their path so that they can be aligned with their truth. Seeing my clients' lives transform for the better ignites me. It's the most rewarding thing I could be doing in this lifetime. However, there are things about this that I don't like. I don't like being in front of the camera. This kind of stuff, not my gig. I'm the behind the scenes girl. I will get anything done, no problem. But when I have to be forward facing, it's uncomfortable for me. So this is an area that is a self-improvement for me. It's an area that I need to work on. And I understand and recognize the necessity of some discomfort of where I'm at for the impact of why I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing. So, but in reverse, I had a job where I was not happy, and I had to literally, it wasn't aligned with where I was at, what I was supposed to be doing. Uh, every ounce of me was being depleted. I had nothing to give anyone. I was so exhausted. That is being out of alignment. That is living another expectation. Now, and the other thing too, I want to recognize is we are here on earth to have a 3D experience. We are here to experience different things, the good, the bad, the ugly, and we have to embrace it. Those experiences that I've had in past jobs, and that were depleting me, and actually I went into adrenal fatigue over, those were actually blessings for me. And that I learned, it was like onion layers. I learned more about myself. I learned more about my strengths. I learned more about my weaknesses. And those are stepping stones that brought me to where I'm at today. So I am grateful for all of those experiences. Even though I wasn't aligned with my purpose, it brought me to my purpose, if that makes sense. So I just want to share that with you, that yes, life is not supposed to just be easy. We're here for the experience. But being aligned with your purpose, things will light you up rather than deplete you. So, the architecture of this, the soul, and this is something that I had worked on myself, especially in the time when I was in the job and I knew I was so depleted. I knew I needed to get out of this job, but I didn't know how. So, this is what I did. It's a 5-step process. I daily would imagine what I wanted in my life. I would imagine myself sitting and working with one-on-one clients, working with the divine, channeling messages from the divine guides, as well as seeing into the Akashic records of whatever my client needed to help bring them the clarity, to get them on their path. I would literally get up at 5:30 in the morning and journal for about 20, 30 minutes of the life I wanted. So it was clearly imprinted into my mind of what I wanted. I set a goal of 90 days to do this. And I did it for 90 days. Every morning I would get up 5:30 and I would journal, write out my desired life. Then the second step, I would take that mental image and I started acting as if. So I would start practicing on people. I'd practice my gifts on people and act as if it was a business. It was, a practice. So I was doing it for free at the time. The third step I did is I called on my guides. I called on the universe and my higher self for guidance on the next steps of what I needed to take to be able to get out of this job that was really confining me, and so that I can make my dream a reality. And what further means I needed to do. So it could be education or a career path change or simply a change of perspective of the current circumstances. So two things happened for me. I was still in my career. I had to have a change of my perspective of the career I was in. And I had to look daily for the good. Instead of seeing the negative, I spent my days focusing on the things I really appreciated about that job, because there were some stuff that I actually totally loved and adored. My coworkers, getting paid, of course, that's always nice. Having some projects that I had great success on. So every day I would look for those things I loved, and I just focus on those. And I stayed away from the office politics. The office politics took me down, and I knew I needed to step away from that. So I focused on the positive. The second thing I had to do was I had to hire somebody to help me develop my gifts, to help my gifts. My spiritual gifts have always been there, but I really wanted to refine them, and I really wanted to make them sacred. So I found somebody. So those were the two things. So I spent my off time practicing my gifts, working with my coach, my mentor, and focusing on the positive. And then, so the fourth step was, once it's clear of what the universe wants you to do to shift your out of the current situation into your new one, and you're going to have to take on some self-discipline and action on your end, then I had to boldly and with faith, knowing to lead, that the universe would lead me closer to my goals. And so what happened was I was listening to a podcast. I knew I needed a coach. I was listening to a podcast, and my mentor was being interviewed. And the moment I listened to that podcast, I knew she was my mentor. So I knew the universe had me listen to this specific podcast. This is years ago, so that I could connect with my first spiritual mentor. And that's exactly what happened. And so the moment I heard her, I knew she was my mentor. I boldly took faith. That's step of faith, and I reached out and I hired her to work with me. And I had worked with her for years to just really help develop my own gifts. So then, lastly, the last step is, while you work towards your dreams, continue to excel in your current situation. Stay positive and motivated. Even if your mind is already living in the future that you've envisioned, surround yourself with positive influences to keep your spirits high and maintain your goals. So I had to daily, I was in a job, a career I knew I didn't belong. It depleted me, but I had to stay positive, and I focused on those golden nuggets that kept me positive and kept me there, while I trusted the universe was working behind the scenes to bring everything together for me. And it did in the absolute perfect timing. I will tell you, I was laid off of that job. I was laid off because I wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't aligned with my sole purpose. And so that was like this, my guides were working behind the scenes, and literally the day I was laid off, I was hired into into a spiritual business that I was being able to write. And I was contracted. I wasn't an employee. I was contracted. So I had some more freedom of time. And so it were like little pieces of the puzzle. If you trust the process and you do these 5 steps, the universe is going to put everything together for you to help just gently guide you down a path that is aligned for your soul purpose. So I hope that this message resonates with you. It ignites a newfound sense of claiming your purpose and direction. As you step into your authentic path, you will find fulfillment in your life purpose. So just take a deep breath, take some time, and embrace your journey, and let your light shine bright. We seriously need you to shine. The world needs you. So, and know that it's okay if you're feeling lost, but it's essential to take those small steps, that 5 steps I just gave you, to help get you back on path, on your aligned purpose of why you're here. So, I hope this was helpful for you. Also, I'll drop a link in the description below of my 5 keys that are essential for empaths and highly sensitive people. This is such a game changer, and it helped me out so much when I first discovered what an empath was. I didn't even know. I started to incorporate these keys into my life to help bring me some more balance and ease into my life, and not have the extreme of the emotions that ran wild. So this is a great free guide. Please take advantage of it. The link is in below, and I genuinely hope that this brings you the same sense of empowerment and well-being that it has brought me. Lastly, if you can just like this video and subscribe to this channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.